Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the Eufy Omni C20, which is Eufy's new budget-friendly robot vacuum mop that ships with a surprisingly full-featured all-in-one dock. We bought one for ourselves and have been testing it in various ways over the past few weeks, and in this video I'll go over the pros and cons. So, links in the description, and let's get started. First, the basics. Eufy positions the C20 just above the Eufy C10, which is a vacuum-only model with a self-emptying dustbin in the station. The new Omni C20, however, is a vacuum mop combo, where the dock also washes and dries a pair of spinning mop pads and refills the robot's water tank. The C20 is currently a bestseller online with really good reviews, which is likely due to it being one of the few robots with these exact features in this price range. Starting off with the pros, the thing that the Eufy C20 really does best is mopping. The mop pads spin at 180 rotations per minute with roughly 6 newtons of downward pressure, and they lift up automatically when the robot senses carpet. This lifting feature enables the robot to mop and vacuum a mix of hard floors and carpets in a single pass. The Eufy C20 did very well with mopping ability. For example, with our dried-on stain removal test, it got an impressive 105 points, which is better than the average score of 93. It also did well with our new water residue test, which measures how much water the robot leaves behind after mopping. Leaving too much water can lead to streaking, but the C20 only left behind about half as much as the testing average, which is really good. When you combine those two metrics, the stain test and water test, the C20 posts a 227-point mopping score, well above our testing average of 171. It's also really good at its main job of picking up debris from the surfaces of hard floors and carpets. It uses a single side brush and a single main brush in a floating brush housing. And in our pickup tests, it cleanly picked up everything from fine to extra large debris without scattering or other issues. Another pro is that it has a low profile, as it is only about 3.3 inches tall, which is about a half an inch shorter than the average height, so it can get under some furniture that other robots can't. The dock features were also a big pro. In addition to automatically emptying the robot's dustbin into a disposable bag, it also washes the mop pads, dries the mop pads, and refills the water tank. The dock also has a removable tray for manual deep cleaning, which is a nice touch we don't always see in lower-priced models. In our pet hair pickup test, where we flattened 2.5-inch pet hair on carpet, the C20 did well. It picked up 96%, which is really good, especially when compared to the testing average of 81%. It also has an anti-tangle system on the main brush, but it did not perform as well as we would have liked, which we will get to later when we talk about the cons. Eufy's app is generally a pro. You get multi-floor mapping, room-by-room settings, virtual barriers, scheduled cleans, and a dock menu where you can choose how often it empties the dustbin and cleans the pads. That said, the app is still a little less feature-rich compared to companies like Roborock or Ecovacs. For example, there's no option to have the C20 mop with the grain of hard floors and no fine control over other systems. Before I move on to the cons, let's talk about some things that were just average with the C20. For example, with the carpet deep clean test, where we embed sand into medium pile carpet and measure how much the robot can pick up, the C20 removed 75% of the sand, which was right at the average amount of 75.4%. Also, its suction scores were right at the average amount, though its airflow was about 25% lower than average in our tests. Its navigation was also just average. The Eufy C20 uses an internal laser to map out its surroundings and navigate around the house, which it does in more or less straight lines. And in our navigation and coverage tests, we found that it was right at the average amount in terms of navigation speed and coverage. Moving on to the cons. Though its suction power was a little above average in our tests, its airflow was significantly below average. This may be why it struggled in the crevice test, for example. This is by no means a deal breaker, but something to note. Its battery life was also a significant con. It was below average with battery efficiency in our tests, and its estimated square feet per charge was very low at only about 525, which is one of the lower scores on record. Another con was that its anti-tangle brush was, in practice, pretty disappointing. The brush housing has little plastic combs that are supposed to detangle it as it vacuums, but in our 7-inch hair test, the C20 got 54% of the hair tangled in its brush, which is far worse than the average of 38%. Another con is that the 250 milliliter dustbin is much smaller than average, which means it needs to return to the dock to empty more often. It's worth noting that the C20 has no front-mounted obstacle avoidance sensors, which is fine, as almost no robot vacuums in this price range have it either, but you will need to pick up clutter that it is likely to get stuck on before each run for best results. So after adding up all these scores, the Eufy C20 ended up with a Vacuum Wars score of 3.1, which is higher than the average of 2.8. And though the C20 is currently ranking 46th in our system and thus did not make the top 20 list, it should be said that that is pretty high for its price. And it's certainly one of the cheapest robot vacuum mops with a multifunctional dock. Links in the description, and be sure to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you leave. Thanks for watching. All of the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our current favorite vacuums in multiple categories. You'll also find links to the Vacuum Wars website in the description, where we have more detailed lists of our favorite products, like our new top 20 robot vacuums list, which is updated weekly.